Previously, armed men in fake police gear had abducted the depot manager and his family, and walked inside without firing a shot. Tonight, the doors are open, the alarms are silent, and the gang are already inside the largest cash depot in the country. They rounded up 14 members of staff, tied them, and held them at gunpoint while the night's real work began. These were ordinary workers, counters, drivers, clerks, suddenly hostages in a vault they thought was the safest place in Britain. Around them sat a mountain of money, not thousands, not millions, but more cash than most people will ever see in a lifetime. At the loading bay a lorry waited, its back doors open, ready to swallow as much as the night would allow. Cage by cage, trolley by trolley, they began moving the money, a human conveyor belt feeding the open lorry. Inside the truck, walls of banknotes rose higher and higher, stacked tight like bricks in a building made of money. But every minute inside that depot was a minute closer to being caught, and they could not afford to be greedy with time. There was so much cash that the sheer weight of it became the problem, they simply could not carry it all. They filled the lorry to bursting, and still tens of millions of pounds sat untouched on the depot floor. Imagine stealing more money than anyone in your country ever has, and walking past even more because it won't fit. The hostages could only watch as their depot was emptied around them, powerless against the masked figures and their guns. By the time they stopped, the lorry held about £53 million, the biggest cash haul in British history. They pulled the shutter down on more stolen money than any robbery this country had ever recorded. With the hostages left tied and the rest of the fortune abandoned, the gang made for the doors. The diesel engine turned over, headlights flared, and £53 million began to roll toward the open gate. They drove off into the dark with more money than anyone had ever stolen in the country. Catching them should have been impossible. A perfect crime, a clean escape, except for one thing. They had made mistakes. Tomorrow, in the final part, we follow them. Follow now so you don't miss how this ends.